Good morning, my loves. Welcome back. So in today's video, we are going to talk about synastry again. And before we start, I have to clean my glasses. That was not planned, but we'll keep this in. We'll not edit this out. So in today's video, we are going to talk about a particular aspect that has been requested by you, and you know who you are. This video is particularly for you, and we're talking about Saturn square Venus. This is an aspect that I see so often in synastry charts. This aspect shows up not all the time, but it's probably the aspect that I see the most when I look at synastry charts. And it is a very tricky one. It is challenging, and it's challenging in a very harsh way, in a very restrictive way. And as you've already heard me say before, when we look at synastry charts and we see, one person has one planet and the other person has the other planet, in this case, this is Saturn and this is Venus, we can't automatically assume that the Venus person is going to be the person that suffers and the Saturn person is the one that restricts the Venus person, and it's like the harsh one and it's the dark one. It is not the case, because we are in a relationship and we are exchanging energies. It's an exchange. Sometimes in this case, Venus person will be acting out the Saturn, and then other times the Saturn person will be acting out the Saturn. But there is a flow here that goes both ways. So what does it all mean, and what can we learn here? Well, hopefully we will learn a lot, but we will learn it in not so pleasant way. Like most of the time with Saturn, right? Saturn is the harsh teacher. Saturn restricts. Saturn holds back. And when we talk about holding back here, in particular in this aspect, we are talking about holding back not the goodness per se, but the emotions, the feely kind of energy. We can restrict that. There is like this restrictive feeling that both people will experience again, right? It's not just that the Venus person is sitting there thinking, oh my God, I feel so restricted. The Saturn person will feel that too. The Saturn person will feel that energy as well. And for them, they will blame the other. But remember, when we are in a relationship, the other is just acting as a mirror for us, showing us what is not resolved within us, what we have to change and rearrange within us so we can be more fully ourselves. And when we have this aspect in particular, a Saturn aspect, we are asked to realign. And when we have this with Venus, we are asked to look at our worthiness, right? This is always a worthiness aspect. And what do I mean by worthiness aspect? What I mean is that you are not standing in your worth fully. This is what this aspect is trying to tell you. This is why this person came into your life, to show you that. And again, the other way around, right? For both people, this is why you two came together. You're both not standing in your worth. What is standing between you and your worth, right? It's not the other person, it's only you. And once you understand that fully, you can change it and shift it and understand that your value has to be seen by you first. And it's not a mental exercise, right? You hear me say that it's not something we can mentally understand. I mean, yes, we have to mentally understand it too, but that is not enough. Mentally understanding something, it's like, yeah, of course I'm valuable. Yeah, of course my worth is not in question. Of course, I get it mentally. But are you living it? Are you living it? This is the biggest lesson in this aspect. And again, that's why I see this aspect so often in people. The opposition here, the Venus Saturn opposition, can act similarly at times, but it is generally not that it's not as difficult, but it's just not so much about the worthiness here. We are not so much talking about restricting or feeling restricted and also feeling not worthy in a strange way. It's not so obvious. It's not like you're not sitting on the couch thinking, oh my God, I feel not worthy in this relationship, or he makes me not feel worthy, or she makes me not feel worthy. It's not that obvious, but it's like this undercurrent, this underlying feeling of like, I don't feel fully seen in this relationship, and I don't feel this person really sees my worth. Let's just play out an example here, because it always helps, right? Let's look at an example here. So we could look at, because we talk about Venus, we could look at money. Let's look at the money issue, right? That it's always a goodie in a relationship, right? The money question. With this particular relationship, money can really be a big deal. And a big deal as in not as in having a lot of money, but having a lot of problems with money. And they show up in the relationship. So there can be stinginess, right? Like one person might look at money in a certain way, and that then also restricts the other person. But here, that's where the lesson is, right? We are realizing that the other person must clearly also have issues with money. Otherwise, they would not have attracted and allowed in, not just attracted, but allowed in this person with their stingy money, money views. There is something in this other person also that believes, there's a part that believes, oh, money is an issue, right? Money, we have to be careful with money. We can't spend too much. We have to always just buy and say, when there's sales, we can't go and eat out too often. So it goes both ways again. But this is one thing that I see so much, particularly with this aspect, the money issue. And again, it doesn't have to be like the stinginess per se. There can be other things, but stinginess is generally a part because it is Saturn, and Saturn holds back, Saturn restricts, Saturn wants to, downsize things. It is not expansive. So yeah, we do have the stinginess in this aspect. But again, what are we learning here? We are learning that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way, because what is happening here, that one person will always be the one that is questioning this, right? It's like, why are we like this? Why are you looking at money this way? Why can't we look at money a different way? And I'm not saying it's usually the Venus person or the Saturn person, because again, it goes both ways, but it is one of these two will question it. And that's where we, start learning, and that's where we start opening up, hopefully, or that relationship will not go on. If this relationship goes on, then 100% you will open up and learn, both of you. Otherwise, this relationship will not go on, because one of them will say, yeah, fuck that, I'm out of here. That this is not working for me. We don't look at a very, very important part of life in the same way, right? Because we can't, let's face it, money is an important part, right? If we don't have it, we can't buy a house, we can't rent a house, we can't buy food, all the things. So it is a big, important part in the relationship. And what we do together with the money in the relationship is also an important subject. Now, let's get back to you. So let's say we have this issue, stingy partner that wants to just hold on to the money, can't really see a way to make more. It's like, oh, in my industry, that's how it works. I can't make more money here. And okay, but then the other person clearly also has, like I said earlier, has issues with money, right? There are issues, but they have a more open mind. There is an open-mindedness there. And if that person is starting to understand that for themselves, right? They see, oh, okay, I see in the mirror, and I see I have like the issues. I have issues in this area too, but I don't want to have these issues anymore, right? I'm gonna do my inner work and do what I need to do. two things can happen. One thing is, well, you know, you're moving so far apart that the relationship will break up. And Saturn is generally, a harsh Saturn aspect is a big indicator for that. Doesn't mean that every relationship with a square to Saturn or an opposition to Saturn will break, you know, apart. No, but I'm not gonna lie, it's likely, especially if we are not willing to do our inner work. And so let's say there's this one option where, you know, we finally say, no, not working. The other option is that this person is I like this person that is not playing out the Saturn is doing their inner work, staying connected to themselves, and then also willing to start being themselves fully in the relationship. And if the person that plays the Saturn, that plays out the Saturn part, if that person is open to that, if there is an openness here, this relationship can be taken to the next level, right? This is like everything with Saturn. If it doesn't break apart, we are up leveling, right? We are up leveling. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot of patience on the part of this person, but also patience on the part of this person, because they have to look at this and they are like, what are they doing now? What is going on here? They don't, we don't get it. But so you have to have an open mind. Generally, this tends to work better when we have obviously more harmonious aspect that contribute, right, to the positivity and the patience. And even though, patience, that's another topic. I don't really am a firm believer in patience. I think it's a slightly overrated, overused term, because it is not so much about patience in life. It is about being at peace more than being patient. But that is for another video. We talk about it another time. So generally, this aspect can be worked through with the help of, some Jupiter aspects, some positive Venus aspect, any positive inner planet aspect can help, right? Especially also Mercury, because we can then, start the communication. If we have positive Mercury aspect, we can, talk it through. But we also need the embodiment. We can't just do all of this on the mental plane. Mental level, it's good to have that, right? Understanding each other on the mental plane, the logic and all that. But we need to also feel it. And yeah, the moon plays a role here too. Like, let's say we have a couple that shares the same moon sign or the same element, the moon element. Then we're having a good foundation with that. You heard me say that before about the moon. The moon is the most important thing in a synastry chart. The moon, the moon, the moon. It's always the moon. If the moon is matching, we have some good foundation. If the moon is not matching, doesn't mean we can't make it work, but it is going to be always a little dicey. So let's sum it up. This aspect can be very difficult, can be very harsh, can be very cold too. Everything with Saturn feels always a bit colder, and it's almost like, we don't feel fully seen and heard. Both people, again, it goes both ways. Both people don't feel fully seen and heard. And this is an aspect that really, really requires deep inner work, inner child work, shadow work. And again, blaming doesn't help in this circumstance. Blaming the other for what we don't get will not get us anywhere. It will just make the rift deeper, and it will just feel colder. What I always advise is focus on yourself. Focus on your healing, because there is healing to do for you, and focus on that. Don't focus on the other person and what they are lacking or what you feel like it's lacking in the relationship. Focus on you. That is my advice. Focus on your inner work, focus on your healing, and see where that leads you together. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? We still came together for a reason, and we still honor that, and we still, you know, understand that this person was a teacher, and we learned a lot, and we thank them if we can't make it work. So yeah, big aspect. If you have any questions about this aspect or any other Saturn-Venus aspect, I have another video on that somewhere. You have to look through my collection there. And if you want a personal reading, Synastry chart reading, you can message me, or you can book it in the description box. There's a link. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and follow this channel, and I will see you in the next video.